Welcome to St. Lucie Public Schools Transportation Department. Training and Development. Driving students to success. Thank you for joining us. Today's training is on the FEFP reporting process. An extra worksheet is not needed. All tracking is done online through the Safe Schools website. You will need to complete and pass the short quiz at the end of this training course in order to receive the credit. Once we confirm your completion, you will be paid for 30 minutes of training pay. What is FEFP? The Florida Education Finance Program, or FEFP, is the funding formula adopted by the legislature in 1973 to allocate funds appropriated to the school districts for K-12 public school operations. School districts receive funds from the federal government directly through the state as an administering agency. School funding, including transportation, is a blend of federal, state, and local dollars. Why is FEFP so important? We in transportation are required to conduct an FEFP survey count 4 times a year. 2 are conducted during the regular school year and 2 over the summer. The purpose of these counts are to identify which students are actively riding on our buses in order to be paid for the cost associated with transporting students to and from school. Once the FEFP count is done, the Florida Department of Education will come into our office and perform an audit of our countings. Each bus route is carefully reviewed for accuracy. If they find inaccurate information, such as students marked as riding when they did not ride during the count week, we have to pay back the money that has been paid to us, along with any fines that are assessed for false information. The student only has to ride 1 day during the count week in order to receive the funding. The count week is October 12th through October 15th. Before the 12th, your area manager will give you your FEFP folder. Included in the folder will be your bubble sheets from each school, a blank write-in sheet, and if you run a midday, you'll have a blank midday sheet. There will also be an instruction sheet. You are to begin your counting process Tuesday, October 12th, and complete it by Friday, October 15th. The full report is due to your area manager on Friday, October 15th, after your AM run. Here is some important information to keep in mind when completing your reports. You may use a pen or pencil to complete the FEFP report. If you make an error or the bubble sheet gets damaged, we can print out a new sheet for you. Just let your area manager know. Please be thorough. We need to make sure you are getting the correct count. Pay attention to your riders, both in the AM and the PM. Don't just guess. And once again, your reports are due to your area manager no later than Friday, October 15th, after your AM run. Let's take a look at a bubble sheet together. The top left-hand corner has the bus route info. The top right-hand corner is the signature box. You will see the students' names and 562 numbers on the left side of the screen. The student will be listed by each bus stop. On the right side of the screen, you will see the days of the week and the bubbles to fill in. Fill in the bubbles for the first day the student rode the bus during the count week. Remember, we only need 1 day bubbled in. You do not need to bubble every day that they ride, only the first day that they rode. We often see bubbles in the center section filled in. Please do not use these bubbles. Only use the bubbles under the day of the week that the student rode. If the student did not ride during the count week, do not fill in any bubbles. Just leave it blank. We are only able to count the students that rode for that specific week. It's important that we do not make any markings over any of the barcodes anywhere on the bubble sheets. We have to scan each rider, and any markings over the barcodes will jeopardize the accuracy of the count. If you make an error or the page gets damaged, we can print a new sheet for you. Please see your area manager, or you can contact Mrs. Cruz or Mr. Carter. When you have completed your bubble sheet, you will need to print, sign, and date in the box on the top right-hand side. Any reports that are submitted without the signature, date, and printed name will be rejected and sent back to you. Why is a write-in sheet needed? Students are coming and going, and routes consistently change. Although we do our best to make sure the routes are as up-to-date as possible, there may come a time that a student rides your bus and it's not listed on the bubble sheet. When that happens, you will need to document their information on the write-in sheet provided to you. From there, the student will be added to the route in Bus Planner, and next time your route is printed, it would reflect the addition. Keep in mind that just because a student boards the bus doesn't mean they should be. There are times we see ineligible students board. If it is determined that the student you have written in is not eligible for transportation, they will not be added to your route. Let's take a look at the write-in sheet together. Again, if a student rides your bus and is not listed on the bubble sheet, you will need to properly complete the write-in sheet. Notice the column titles: date rode, school, grade, first name, last name, 562 number, and bus stop. Please write clear, as we have to take this information from the write-in sheet and manually add them. If we are unable to read the info, we may lose funding for those students. Please do not list birthdays, phone numbers, or addresses. We cannot research by that. Please only list the required information for each column. When you have completed your count, you will need to sign, print, and date across the top of the page. Don't forget to include your route number. Any incomplete forms will be returned to the driver for proper completion. Your forms must be signed, print name, and dated, along with your area manager and bus route number. Please complete all the information on the top of the sheet. The new midday sheet now looks exactly like a bubble sheet. Follow the same instructions when completing your midday bubble sheet as you would your regular bubble sheet. If you do not run a midday, please disregard the midday information. In case you missed it, let's recap. The count week is Tuesday, October 12th through Friday, October 15th. You can use pen or pencil to complete your reports. Please do not make any markings on any of the barcodes. Make sure you are completing the report in full with all of the required information. Fill in the bubble for the first day the student rode the bus during the count week. Remember, we only need one day bubbled in. If the student did not ride during the count week, do not fill in any bubbles. Just leave it blank. Be sure you are paying attention to all of your riders, both in the AM and the PM. Don't just guess. We need an accurate count. If a student rides your bus and is not on the bubble sheet, you'll need to properly complete the write-in sheet. Write clear and be sure you are signing all of your forms. Your reports are due to your area manager no later than Friday, October 15th after your AM run. Let's recap some more. FEFP is used to count the number of students that ride during the count week. We then send that info to the Florida Department of Education. They send us funds to cover the cost associated with transporting students to and from school. The state conducts a thorough audit to confirm that we have submitted the correct info. If they find we have submitted riders that did not ride, we have to repay plus potential fines. That concludes our training on FEFP reporting. If you need further training or clarification on the FEFP reporting process, please see Mrs. Cruz in the South County compound, or you may contact her at the number and email below. All staff will be held accountable to meet all the expectations set forth by the Transportation Management Team. If you have any questions about this training or any other, please speak with your immediate manager. Thank you for attending our training. Please proceed to the quiz. Remember, in order to receive credit for completing this course, you must complete and pass the following quiz.